Now you're coming back to a half percent increase. A 1% increase would not cover the costs that were being proposed. So how do you expect to have a half percent tax cover that? What I discovered was that there's no city in the country where light rail has been implemented that has seen the reported benefits of less congestion and reduced pollution. What I did find was that light rail does not take any significant amount of drivers off the roads. It increases congestion for commuters due to loss of automobile lanes and crossing road intersections. It cannibalizes bus service due to its high cost of operation and maintenance. It increases accidents, both pedestrian and vehicle, and it increases crime and redistributes it around the rail lines and corridors. Any increase in sales tax redistributes money out of the pockets of middle class and those most needy, aged, handicapped, and poor. A sales tax increase increases commercial rents, which increases the cost of doing business and therefore increases the cost of goods and services to the consumer. A sales tax increase takes money out of our pockets, money which we would otherwise spend on small businesses such as retail and food service operations. A sales tax increase redistributes money out of our pockets to help fund crony projects and only helps those who stand to make money from developing, building, financing, eminent domain, and other legal work involved in such projects. Please, respectfully, I ask you not to put a sales tax referendum on the 2016 ballot. We voted in 2010 overwhelmingly against it and against light rail. I ask that you respect the will of the people that you represent. Please stop wasting your time and our money on the Go Hills Road proposal and address the issue of fixing our roads with the funds that we have. Thank you.
35 Moonshell Drive, Apollo Beach, 4 items from citizens organized for sound transportation. You know, I think there's a number of things wrong with the plan, but since I've only got 3 minutes, I'm going to focus on the worst part of what's wrong with the plan, and I think that's the funding plan. Well, before I do that, you know, Tampa Business Journal is running a little poll. Been running for 48 hours. Just one question. Do you support Go Hillsborough? With 700 respondents, or a little under 700 respondents this afternoon, 69% said no, 28% yes, and only 3% don't know. So put that in your memory bank. As I said, the worst aspect of Go Hillsborough is the sales tax increase. You know, county taxpayers like me, we feel like Rodney Dangerfield. We get no respect. There's no money for transportation, but if you're the Yankees, well, there's $40 million. You need a soccer stadium or a park in your district, no problem. Transportation, geez, I'm sorry we don't have any money for that, but we believe strongly in your right to vote for more taxes for yourself. Now, if you put this on the ballot, ladies and gentlemen, you're not just asserting the people's right to decide. Almost nobody that I know really buys that. A vote by you to put this referendum on the ballot is a vote for a tax increase. Period. It's a vote you'll have to live with in your next campaign. Either transportation is our highest priority, as you say, or it's not. Either way, you have plenty of money for what's proposed here. You know, if we're going to have 500,000 people come into this county, there's going to be a lot of homes. The ad valorem taxes are going to grow, and home values are going to grow also. You have lots of money, you're going to have lots of money into the foreseeable future. You need to take this funding requirement from your increasing revenue stream, plus a fair contribution from builders and developers, and maybe even a gas tax. There's easily $120 million per year available there. A tax increase on top of that would be paying for it twice. And that's just not right. What we would really appreciate is you're protecting our right to keep what we earn. So vote no on putting this tax on the ballot and fund the projects needed with the money and the means you have now. Don't ask us to pay for it twice. Thank you.
I oppose the proposed sales tax hike. It's ironic that it's about the same time as May of 2010 when we were in the same building in a public hearing for the referendum that was defeated in 2010. And it's ironic that after the defeat, one of the first we simply didn't have time to educate the public. Well, here we are again at the same time. And the ballot language, it is confusing and chaotic, and it's disingenuous as the proposed tax hike. The 10-year list of projects it was to fund was created through a marketing campaign, not an engineering analysis. Where's the proof that these projects will relieve congestion? The plan is to thought that it could increase congestion and travel time, especially with the hundreds of thousands of people that expected to be moved here by 2040. Over 20 years, for all the money spent, we're only getting 20% congestion relief. This is not a $3.5 billion tax hike. The NPO's long-range transportation plan estimates a 0.5% sales tax hike will generate $4 billion over 20 years. The county population is growing, and if you use the NPO's growth factor, this tax hike will generate at least $6.1 billion over 30 years. I think it's a bit deceptive to not be honest with the actual numbers with the public. The county has said for years, and we were told throughout the Go Hillsborough campaign, there simply was no money for maintenance, road maintenance. But not a penny of the tax hike is going to maintenance and unincorporated. Suddenly, $259 million was magically found, $26 million a year for 10 years out of general revenues to pay for maintenance. Again, the public was deceived. Trust has been lost. The proposed tax hike is flawed and it's bad policy. Good governance never would put bad policy on any ballot. This is an expensive non-solution for a real problem. And I think taxpayers deserve better. It's time for Plan B. Vote no on the tax hike. Thank you.
My personal opinion here tonight, obviously I'm a Heart Board member. I have a degree in Industrial and Management Systems Engineering from USF and a licensed professional engineer in the state of Florida. As an undergrad, I tutored engineering economics and was trained to seek viable solutions and to problems and analyze the economic viability and technical merits of each potential solution. In private industry, one of my duties was to perform value engineering studies for large capital investments. One of these studies involved creating a computer simulation of the factory floor to see how many more widgets we could get through the manufacturing process for a proposed large investment, an exercise not unlike what we're trying to achieve here tonight. My employer expected me to maximize results given our limited investment resources. Commissioners should have the same expectations for our problem at hand. I cringe every time I hear an elected official say they want to maximize revenue, and I've heard it several times over the past few weeks as this board has deliberated. Your interest should not be to maximize revenue, but instead maximize results of the institutions you have been entrusted to oversee. And that is the essence of what's missing from this entire discussion. Lacking from this plan is the technical analysis that enables us to judge its performance. On the Heart Board, I see my role as to provide oversight of our transit agency. I pay careful attention to the ridership statistics, the cost per trip, the customer service metrics, and encourage usage of emerging technologies. I fully expect Heart staff to perform a technical analysis of ridership and cost when they propose new transit service, and they usually don't disappoint. I easily voted in favor of Heart's vetted 10-year transit development plan, and hopefully you've read about it in today's Tampa Bay Business Journal. Unfortunately, I don't understand why this board hasn't insisted on the same performance measures of the transportation plan in front of you tonight. When I questioned county staff about the county transit investment, specifically the $124 million in the first decade being diverted away from safety and congestion relief and maintenance to transit, and the $482 million in the second decade that's being diverted, I asked if they could explain what the projects are exactly and where's the technical justification for these amounts. The only explanation I received, and I wrote this down so I quote, The MPO and Planning Commission are going to study it. This implies no study, no data, no analysis, no ridership, nothing. I also was told this is in anticipation of our additional transit needs as we move forward. We don't know what the transit needs might be. No initial analysis was done. This is an opportunity that might come up if we redefine land uses. Are you willing to tax county residents well over $1 billion on someone's intuition, on their unsubstantiated anticipation?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Please.
Mark Calvert, Hillsborough, Florida. So here we are again, we're hearing a lot of the same old arguments. So what all has changed? Well, facts matter and trust is earned. So let's take a little example using the good mayor's example here, what he called some of us who maybe disagree about his rail plans, what we're relying on. He says he knows how much rail from downtown to the airport will cost around $480 million. But he doesn't know the ridership, he doesn't know the fare recovery, he doesn't know the actual route. Will it stop at the West Shore Mall, at the International Plaza, at the West Shore Business District? What about the congestion due to the at-grade road crossings? What's that going to do? Has there been an environmental study yet? How long will the actual ride take to get from downtown to the airport? Have we acquired the right-of-way? What's the physical connectivity to the airport? Where exactly are going to route the train? How to route the rail around the current roads and immovable infrastructure around the airport? Not to mention, when will they start? Likely a decade away or more. It's hardly shovel-ready. It will require capital funding around 40% from the feds and 30% from the state. No one really knows the operating costs, but in fact, the 2014 AECOM study, which I have right here on my little phone, which you never publicly presented, that we paid for, estimated the cost at over $1 billion. And a one-way ride would have $20 to $30 cost each way. How is this even feasible? Tell me why we are subsidizing the travel costs of business people and out-of-town travelers at our expense. The only way this comes close to these costs is they run the rail right down the middle of I-275 median, but the transitarians and urbanists were involved because we won't get the transit-oriented development. It's run down some surface streets will easily cost over $1 billion and create more congestion. Yet the downtown TIA run will do nothing to relieve the greater congestion across the Tampa Bay area. Park should run some express buses, and I believe that's in their plan, to see if anyone will really ride that route before tax dollars go to subsidize a wasteful rail project. To be sure, it won't only be the taxpayers at risk, but as the county and the state will be the first to be backed by the city of Tampa to bail it out. Better yet, why don't we use Uber? It costs $10 to $13, about 20 to 25 minutes to travel the 8 miles, and it won't require 1 cent of the taxpayers' money. We don't need our taxpayers' money subsidizing yet another train effort. That money can be used much more wisely to improve traffic flow across the city. It is time for a plan B. Vote no on Hillsborough and get ready to publicly support TDX. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. David McCaleb. I'm a resident of St. Petersburg. My son is a commuter to USF Tampa routinely on their streets and highways. I was with the group No Tax or Tracks Pinellas, and we proudly helped stop Greenlight Pinellas with 62% of the vote. Every municipality, all 24 of them in Pinellas County, said no, no, no. And I'm asking you, please, don't make the taxpayers go through this again. Don't put a referendum for Go Hillsborough on the ballot. It's not an act of courage. It's merely an act of cowardice. You're afraid to make the decision. You've got a lot of cronies, a lot of people twisting your arms because there's a lot of money to be made by these cronies. Be courageous for real and say no referendum. And we don't need more taxes over here. I don't need to come over here when I come over here frequently and have higher sales taxes. And the people just don't trust the government with this money. They don't trust you folks, I'm sorry. Because there's so many false promises. You're not going to decrease congestion. Every study shows it never happens. In fact, every study on all these transit plans and rail plans show massive failures or massive boondoggles. Light rail is a constant here. You've got all sorts of things wrapped up and around it. You've got smoke and mirrors. But in the end, it's all about the choo-choo train, okay? And if you want your train here, because then the people can go back to Pinellas and the Chamber or Chamber Bay Regional, whatever coalition de jour, can say, we need it in Pinellas now because they got it in Hillsborough. We're sick of it. Stop. Give it up. Give up on this progressive utopian pipe dream of planned communities that tell us where we're going to live and light rail choo-choo trains that get us where you want us to go, when you want us to get there. Now, if you really care about commuters around here, we'd spend some time fixing that ridiculous bottleneck between the Howard Franklin and I-275. It's not that hard to throw the Leroy Selma type expressway over the top of it. Done. Why didn't we see tens of millions of dollars on that instead of like expanding out 275 here, a worthy project? But you guys can do it. But you know what? Folks in your seats don't want to solve congestion. You like the congestion. And let's just say there's a problem to fix. A problem you hope to continue, a problem you hope to create, but you say there's a problem to fix. You want people to be miserable in traffic. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward if this gets on the ballot, but I'll tell you what. Because me and my friends dug and dug and dug, and we found all sorts of crony corruption, we found government contracts, we found political contributions to the politicians, and I promise you, we're going to dig that dirt, we're going to get it out there. And I helped Mike Deason win in Edinburgh when we found out about the abuse of federal contracts, when we found out about how tax dollars are being used to further political campaigns. You want your name attached to that? Because it's coming, I promise you, I'm going to enjoy it. And all you contributors out there, your sites, your daycare, all you want to spend some money, tell these people to take the hike. They want to use you for political cover and make you spend money on a boondoggle that's going nowhere and blame you when it fails. Heck no to another transit referendum. Be courageous and don't put it on the ballot.
My apologies to everyone for my outburst, but I now know what it feels like to be called a liar in public, with a pot calling the kettle black. I'd like to take you all back to 1999 and refer you to an article in the newspaper, so it must be true. But it was talking about this very same issue. Back in 1998, we were talking about transportation and transit and all those sorts of things. So my point for bringing that up is that at this point, in 2016, there's no excuse for any commissioner subsequent to 1999 to tell us today that we have a transportation problem. Oh my gosh, it just snuck up on us. We've heard people talk about kicking the can down the road. Let's not do that. No reasonable person who's wearing this sticker tonight opposes transportation, modernizing our transportation, doing those things that need to be done. Our opposition is a well-founded one. You've heard several times tonight people talking about trust. Folks, we don't trust you, doggone it, we want to. You're our elected leaders. We really, really want to do something, please, to help reinvigorate that trust. I'm going to mention what was said earlier about the Tampa Bay Business Journal. There's only 700 people, but that's a sampling from around the county. We conducted a poll at the Tampa Talk Project about a month ago. We had every area in this county represented that evening, and there was only one person that didn't vote down Go Hillsborough, and that was because he was conducting the vote. So, let's come back to the president. Just last week, there was an article in the newspaper, again, so it must be true, that Tampa was the fourth fastest growing economy. Did you all see that article? Somebody nod. Did you see that article? I didn't think you'd acknowledge it. But anyway, we're the fourth fastest growing economy in the country, folks. Fourth fastest in the country. And that's irrespective of this little thing called rail. Now, no one's going to say, except for apparently the mayor, who really is, his whole future depends on getting that rail. But no one else is going to say that there's rail in here. There is. Just ask Kevin Thurman. He said these people won't say it, but Kevin Thurman, one of the biggest proponents, said yes. Commissioners, please. We've been lied to. We've been misled about the funding. We want to solve the problem. We really, really do. We want to support you in solving the problem. But what you're offering us right now is just another way to take more money from us. That doesn't solve the problem. A lack of vision and proper planning and prioritizing on the part of the county commission does not equate to a crisis revenue shortfall on the part of the taxpayers. Please vote no.
Thank you. My name is Barb Hazelton, and I'm from Dallas County. I led the No Tax for Tax Realist, and I I just want to say, first of all, that the voters of Hillsborough County have had a chance to vote on this. And they voted it down in 2010. And the next day, I received a phone call from a friend of mine in Hillsborough and said, I just read that there's going to be a rail meeting, a transportation task force meeting over in Pinellas next month. And I almost hung up the phone. And I said, I really don't want to hear that information. But I felt compelled to attend that meeting. And there were 25 hand-selected Chamber of Commerce members, corporation executives who were hand-selected by a county commissioner in Pinellas County to attend this transportation task force meeting where they had sessions, they had set up pods where they sat around and there was like 4 or 5 in a group. And we were able to walk around and listen to them discussing their talking points. And I heard a vice president of a very major corporation over in Pinellas County who said, you know what the problem is? It's just too easy to get around in Pinellas County. And we don't have the traffic problem that you have over here in Hillsborough. So the cartel, if you will, that wanted to see a rail project started in Pinellas County, they were going to have to campaign on something besides traffic. And so the mantra became that if we didn't pass this sales tax in Pinellas County, they were going to have to cut bus service by 30%. That's all they talked about, is it was draconian cuts in the bus service. Millions of tax dollars were spent, and millions were raised to fight no tax for tracks. I spent 4 years going to PSTA meetings, going to county commission meetings, because when I heard that deception at that very first meeting, I committed myself to attending this and seeing this all the way to the end. To this day, we won. We raised $93,000, and we had $3,000 left after it was over. We beat millions of dollars. We beat the Chamber of Commerce's. We beat all the beach hotel owners, all of the corporations that wanted it, because they wanted the business off the light rail. And by 62 to 38%, we won. I just want to say real quick on my way, and by the way, they never cut the bus service by 30%. Miraculously, they too found the money to keep the buses going. Tonight, when I came over in the traffic, during the rush hour, which is all around the world is rush hour, it made me think of being in Denver last year, when on I-70, the train runs parallel. It was empty.